Robert, tell me a little bit about your personal background.
Like a lot of us in this field, I started at maybe 6 years old working on computers and programming them. But career-wise, I was a system and network administrator for a church while in college, and then did the same for a school district in the DFW area. From there, I worked at Lockheed Martin on the SBIRS, on a SBIRS satellite stream. After the core of my career, I was at NSA as a nation-state hacker. And then from there, I went to USAA and created and led their red team. A lot of this is very similar to the work we do here at Penn Consultants.
Tell me more about your time with the Department of Defense and USAA.
After my master's degree in computer science and engineering, I transitioned into DoD through the defense contractor Lockheed Martin, working on the SBIRS program as a computer hardware engineer on one of their satellite streams. SBIRS has its roots back in President Reagan's day with Star Wars, which was also known as Space Surveillance and Tracking System. If you don't know, SBIRS tracks heat signatures such as rockets and missiles to give early warning of an attack, as well as global surveillance of what is now part of Space Force.
So let's talk about the core of your career then, NSA, your role as a nation-state hacker and vulnerabilities and exploits.
Yeah, from there, I went to NSA for the core part of my career as Geneva, a global network exploitation vulnerability analyst. In other words, I was an actual nation-state hacker. I looked at vulnerabilities in devices and software that nation-state adversaries were using, computer systems, software, phones, network gear, and so on, which were often COTS, commercial off-the-shelf devices and software. I would then write proof-of-concept exploits that eventually went to military operators that they used to gain access for surveillance and intelligence gathering purposes, which of course supported the war efforts in warfighter.
So tell me more about your work at USAA on the red team and the relationship to Penn Consultants, what you're doing now.
After NSA, I transitioned to USAA, a bank for members of the military and their families. I started and led their red team for 5 years, which means I played the role of an adversary for 5 years, constantly hacking into USAA, hacking into the bank, and then telling them how to fix it, which is very similar to what we do here at Penn Consultants.
Tell me about what you've been doing since your work at USAA.
Yeah, since early 2019, it's been Penn Consultants exclusively for me.